Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together to BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss musical artists. This week's musical artist is the Beastie Boys. I'm your host, Jason. Your other host is Tim.
I got more rhymes than I had it. Never
You
mind.
ain't got shit.
Never mind.
Bill, what
Yeah,
you
I got
got?
I got nothing.
All the girls.
Got more
And
hits than Rod Carew.
there you go. And our special guest, Tony. And today, we're talking Paul's Boutique, 1989. If you missed the previous record, we are a playlist link channel. Click playlist link down below. What else? Like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. All that pizzazz. So, who starts off Paul's Boutique?
I will. I will.
I recently picked this one up too, and I will say I do not like the packaging.
Interesting.
It's so thick, and it's only one
Eh,
disc, and I
Oh,
don't have a
wow.
sleeve that fits it.
Wow.
Why is it so thick? Does it come with a booklet or?
No, it don't
Nope.
come with shit. Like
It's so you can fold it out and see that street in Brooklyn caught in time.
Yeah.
Which I believe now is the Beastie Boys Avenue, right?
Probably, yeah, I think so.
Um, so in the book, it does talk about how the actual store kind of went out of business shortly after the album came out. And so Yauk was able to pay their phone bill and hook up the phone number to an answering machine he kept at his parents' house. And they just get like messages. I thought that was awesome. Um, and then we mentioned it earlier on the License to Ill album. This album changed the music industry. One of the first internet websites was a chronicle of all the samples on here. Um, Easily over 100. You cannot get away with sampling the Beatles and Led Zeppelin anymore. Like that's just impossible. Um, yeah, this album could never be duplicated. I believe the Dust Brothers produced it. Um, and after their falling out with Def Jam and Rick Rubin, uh, they went to LA and they met up with the Dust Brothers who were doing a bunch of sampling stuff. And what came out of it was this. I think Shake Your Rump is classic Beastie Boys. I'll rock a house party at the drop of a hat. Um, Johnny Royale, great. Eggman is great. I love that they throw Egg Raid on Mojo in there in the third verse, but some old bullshit has not come out yet. So in 1989, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, you don't know. And of course, now, obviously, in the 21st century, we all know. But I love that. High Plains Drifter, man, what a banger. The Sounds of Science, they, of course, named their greatest hits package that.
I had that CD.
Nice, yeah. Still only the official releases of the Country Mike
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
Um, I mean, there's so many good stuff on here. Hey Ladies, that was a single that was on MTV all the time. Still love it. Five Piece Chicken Dinner, it's so good. It's like it almost could have been on the Country Mike album. Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun, love that song. You got that classic Yauk bass tone. And then I love the mountain sample in there, just in the middle of it, Mississippi Queen. Um, Car Thief, classic. What Comes Round Goes Round, classic. Shadrach, classic. As for Janice, of course. I mean, that's just classic stuff. And then the B-Boy Booyah Boss is, I'll say that's probably my favorite closer in the discography.
It's kind of cheating.
It's kind of cheating, but it also fits the theme of the album so well. And then I see you have 33% God and Do Yourself in 89, which I actually do have the Love American Style EP. I was able to buy at Bleecker Bob's in Manhattan. Um, so I'm a fan. Yeah, this is it's a different flavor from License to Ill, but I think that it is a step in a very artistic direction.
It's a different
It can't be.
flavor, but it's also like it's so much richer. I
Yeah,
guess would be the word to use. Like for a sophomore record, it just like takes it up five
it's that left
pegs.
turn off Beacon Street that actually makes sense.
They took a right turn down Beacon Street.
Right
Yeah,
turn,
yeah,
yeah.
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I all the samples are just super fun to find. There's all kinds of good stuff on here.
yeah. I mean,
I don't have many notes. I do want to say to all the girls, so smooth, so sexy. So like a pimp, I'm pimping. I got a boat to eat shrimp in. That bass breakdown, fucking iconic, and shake your rump. Johnny, then you get like this weird street folk, punk, hip hop, funky ass jam that is Johnny. Eggman just reminds me of a kid we went to school with. Shout out Eggman. The Sounds of Science is like super experimental. 3 Minute Rule, just one of those mini don't fuck with the Beastie Boys songs. Classic. Hey Ladies, classic. 5-Piece Chicken Dinner, top song contender. Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun, same thing. And I think because, we did the whole double, you can't have Brain Stew without Jaded. You can't have Looking Down a Barrel without 5-Piece. I think
Oh,
that
yeah,
should
very
that should
true.
count as one pick. Such a cool vocal melody. Carthy's top song contender. I still like Time to Get Ill more, but B-Boy is a masterpiece. It's a perfect album. Again, the beats are miles above the first album. There's a lot of growth musically and lyrically. Can't say anything bad about Paul's Boutique. Like it's fucking Paul's Boutique.
it's an amazing album. It was a flop.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's weird
It
to
was
think
a big
this.
old flop. The world had to catch up.
Yeah, I didn't know this
It,
album
it,
until
it's
years after.
literally like considered one of their best.
I had already
It
Uh,
heard
does
Ill
make sense
Communication
though.
before Paul's.
It does make sense that it flopped though, because it is such a departure from their first album, which was so hugely successful. And nine times out of ten, like when your first album is that successful, everybody just wants you to do it for the rest of your career.
I think this is the case of like these kids made this fucking album License to Ill because people told them like, hey, you're really good, you should do this. They made it not knowing what was gonna happen, and then they're like, oh shit, this is a thing. We need to really do something here. We need to figure this out. And it could be that's how they end up splitting from Def Jam because they were like, no, we got to take this seriously. They made this album. I mean, and
Well,
it
and I
took
don't think that's what it was, honestly.
no, it's not what it is, but like they were trying to go, oh, okay, we're away from Def Jam. Sorry, what I mean, like going in new directions. We're not a punk rock band anymore. We're a rap group now. We're not a punk. This is to me, Beastie Boys is no longer a punk group making a rap album. They are now okay. We're rap artists, so this is what we do now.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
And then just the lead-ins. I mean, they always come so hard in the beginning and fast. Most of their albums just hit right off the beginning with "Shape Your Rump." Johnny Royale throws like slows, and then Eggman that bass to doom 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 and comes in, and you get those quick Beastie Boys lines again. You
Yeah,
know,
that's the Superfly bass line, right?
hmm and they're just coming at you so fast that I mean, you gotta listen to fucking Beastie Boys. If you're not listening, you'll miss 99% of it. And then yeah, I love 5-Piece into looking down the barrel of a gun. Shatter. It's all just great.
I mean, talk about Paul Revere's storytelling. Car Thief is like just as good
Just to say, yep,
Yep.
they can tell a story. It can be Act Two, like they could just do a musical already. Fucking Meatloaf did one. Come on, let's go.
He did 3.
Oh.
I'll go see this one. Not that I would see
Right, yeah,
Meatloaf.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if Meatloaf comes to San Francisco, I'll probably go. But
Well, and I guess he did 4 if you count Rocky Horror, but
Meatloaf ain't coming to San Francisco anytime soon.
no,
considering he's been dead for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't need him. I just need the musicals.
Oh.
I guarantee they're still going.
I would do anything for.
But I won't do that.
Don't get fucking started. Bill, he's gonna pick Meatloaf now.
He already did. It's in the meat grinder for album of the decade for the 90s.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
and since we're here and we're talking about Meatloaf, let's shout out Scott Ian from Anthrax. Anthrax covered "Looking Down the Barrel
Oh.
of a Gun" on the Beavis and Butthead Experience.
Dude,
And
that
guess
fucking
who his
cover.
and guess who his dad was, or his father-in-law was? Is
Who?
The Loaf himself,
the Loaf himself. So
Mr. Loaf.
Mr.
Yeah.
Loaf.
So yeah, we've got a legitimate Meatloaf, connection here.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
you say we make an actual connection that like we
Oh,
just
shit.
go off on a tangent?
Right.
Sorry. Yeah, never mind. I'm not talking about Meatloaf anymore.
That Anthrax cover is fucking badass, though.
Oh yeah, it is.
Anthrax. It's Anthrax covering the Beastie Boys. It's not going to be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's Top Songs is gonna be rough.
Yeah, this is definitely an album that took needed to cook a little while, and people went back to it and like, holy shit, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, I really feel like this is the one that, like, I don't want to say all the cool kids think it's the best one, but this is the one where producers and actual musicians are going to be like, oh, there's a lot of interesting stuff here.
This is
It's
the one that
so
was on
rich.
all the top 100 lists for Apple and Rolling. This is the Beastie Boy album that makes it into all those top
Yeah.
500s of all time.
It's kind of like
Yes.
Weezer's sophomore Pinkerton, where like it didn't get the recognition until way after.
Right, sure.
World wasn't ready.
The world was not ready for Paul's Boutique in 1989. I don't think the world's ready for Paul's Boutique now, but
It is kind of ahead of its time.
what about you, Bill?
So you guys have kind of hit most of the stuff on the head. I will say for me, I was uncertain about the departure sound wise initially. First little bit listening to this album. Then this song called Johnny Real came on. And it's like, oh shit. No, this is really fucking good music. Uh like I'll say, I mean, Tony, you mentioned, you blink and you miss some of the stuff going on here. And I was trying to pay attention to what was going on here. And I could tell I was still missing a lot of shit.
Well, I was gonna say, recording wise, it's gonna take us 2 weeks to record all these videos. For those that haven't listened to these records for the last 30 years, I highly suggest you just keep listening to them. Even if you've already got Paul's Boutique ranked, go back to it next week. Just keep all of them. Like, I mean, the Beastie Boys always.
On vacation.
You're gonna hear something new each time.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. So that's like, yeah, I listened to Paul's Boutique probably shit. I actually crammed this one I think 3 times in this last week of listening. I mean, and yeah, each time it got better and better.
And it will continue to. Yeah, this is a serious grower.
I will say the only song I had on this one that I'm hesitant to like as much. Oh, I feel mildly adverse to is The Sounds of Science. I think it's just with how it starts out because I love the second half of the song, but the first part I like how they do whatever they're doing, not distortion, but the um like that the sound that they're doing with it. It it's not for me necessarily, but it is interesting to hear it. If that kind of makes sense what I'm saying.
There is a lot of BC Boys stuff for the first couple times you listen to it, you're like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, yeah.
What is going like what? And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, and then a couple of and you're gonna it's gonna it gets in there and you gotta listen with it because you gotta figure out what the fuck are these guys doing right now? What is this weird doop doop fucking doop beat they're
And then
doing?
6 months later, you're like, I need more of that now.
Yeah, like I gotta
Well,
listen.
we'll get to it on a later album, but there was a point where the Beastie Boys would put out a record, and you would get the record, and you would just throw out all your expectations, and you'd have to go in like, I got a new Beastie Boy record. What the fuck's gonna be on here?
I love that, and that's one of the reasons I love these guys so much. Is that's one of my favorite things with artists, where like their record, every record's different.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
not the
Dave,
same thing every time.
I love Bowie for that. Like fucking his
Yeah.
last record and his next record. You don't know what the fuck you're gonna get.
Sure.
Beck's kind of like that too. You never know what you're gonna get with a Beck record.
Mm-hmm.
And Def Leppard's like that a lot too.
At this
Well,
point,
you just
yeah,
got
yeah. At this point,
so you just got to look back what was popular 5 years ago. That's what you're gonna get.
That's like Def Leppard has more.
yeah, you can predict that one. You can predict Def Leppard. May not be the same as the last record, but you just go back 6 years and you're good.
They were on a different album than Monster Ballads.
Oh, I remember the Monster Ballad CD.
Oh God, I
we
wanted
had to do a
all of
review of
those
that one.
at 10:40 a.m.
Let's go.
Go check out our Cinderella playlist. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to talk about the Beastie Boys. It's flawless. It's a flawless album. That's all I gotta say.
It's beautiful. Like you said, it changed the music industry. Like they were just taking shit and sampling, and people like, hey, you can't use
artistically
my song.
and business wise.
Yeah, they're like, you
Let's
can't
say the
use my
business
song. They're like,
sense.
we actually can very much can use your song. There's no law. There's nothing that
Yeah,
says
right.
those
Yeah, we
laws were written.
totally got Abbey Road on here. What you gonna do about it?
These laws were partially written. Like this is probably cited in legal precedent somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
100%.
It has to be.
100%. Yeah, no, it did. It was shortly after this album that bands started having to list their samples. And then it was still like another 10 years before they actually had to start paying people.
Yeah.
But they had to list them after this.
Puff Daddy got screwed.
Well, we won't get into that.
He screwed something.
Jimmy Page got him.
Right?
Not that fucking goddamn Godzilla song.
The girlies he likes are all covered in baby oil.
Mm-hmm. Go check out our 1997 album of the decade series.
Godzilla soundtracks on there.
Dave Grohl.
All right, guess on this one. I think Tim likes it more.
You are correct. Yeah.
I think Tony's gonna like it more. No.
It's a fucking by a hair, but it, like we were saying before, License to Ill is a perfect record.
Bill said he went back to it 3 times. I think Bill's gonna like it more.
I mean, this might be nostalgia kicking in, but I do like the first one more. I mean, that kind of like Tony though. This one, I could make the argument either way for me. I think just sound wise, the first one just appealed to me more.
Oh, it might not be maybe nostalgia for me. It's 100% nostalgia. Why? Like, that's geek.
My notes say putting it behind License based on that sweet, sweet nostalgia.
Yeah,
That's it. Like,
literally.
there's no...
I say that's. I'll say this with mine. I think from like a pure musical value, Paul's Boutique might be better than the first one. But
100%.
for me and my
Yes.
ranking, I want to do License to Ill over it because that's the one. Well,
It's
I
got the
would.
bigger hits for sure.
Well,
It is
even just
probably a
like
better album.
the other ones underneath it, just the sounds that they used for it, I liked better.
Okay.
As you mentioned, like the Sweet Leaf, because I'm listening, like, holy shit, this is fucking Sweet Leaf. Let's go.
Yeah.
There are no wrong answers on the board right now. Honestly, I could go either way.
Yeah.
It's like Blue Album, Pinkerton. I could go either way. But I'm going Blue Album this time.
Album bias.
First album bias. Oh, I don't know, man. It's going to get rough. It's going to get... I can check your heads next. All right. Stick around. Check Your Head is next. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Let us know down below which album you like more, Paul's or Licensed. And give us your rankings. What else? Any other?
Tell us why Beastie Boys isn't as good as we're talking about it, and why these are not two of the most perfect hip hop albums ever.
Well, and Check Your Head is next.
Yeah.
So stick around.
We still got
And that's going to be followed by Ill Communication. And then we got a little band called Hello, or a little album called Hello Nasty. So,
Yeah.
To the Five Boroughs is... Yeah, stick around for all of that. And at the end, we'll do our color code from Ramones Gold to Nickelback Brown. I think this is going to be one of those unanimous type Ramones situations here. But we'll see. As always, what, Bill?
Be safe and it's mashed potato time.
That's a deep cut.
Oh, wait. It's not mashed potato yet, but it's about to be mashed potato time.
Johnny Royale! It's a bubble mushroom. I gave him 50 cents to buy some soup. He knows the time.
and then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.